The Miami Dolphins, sitting at a tough 2-6, are not ready to call it quits on this season just yet. They're reportedly looking at trade options to bring in new talent, something that's pretty bold for a team that most would expect to be clearing house at this point. But the Dolphins are going against the grain, digging in for the second half of the season, hoping for a miracle turnaround. So, where exactly do they need the most help if they're serious about somehow clawing their way back into the playoff picture? First on the list, a serious upgrade to the pass rush. The numbers here are glaring. Through 8 games, Miami's defense has managed only 10 sacks. Compare that to other teams, and they're just barely staying off the very bottom of the league. Only the Falcons, with a mere 9 sacks, have fewer. Miami's lack of pressure on opposing quarterbacks is a huge weakness, and it's one they have to address if they want any chance at making an impact down the stretch. Sure, Bradley Chubb is supposed to make a return at some point, according to head coach Mike McDaniel, but that's still an open question. And with Jalen Phillips out for the season, it's been left to guys like Emmanuel Ogbah and rookie Chop Robinson to pick up the slack. So far, that combination hasn't been nearly enough to shake things up. Beyond the pass rush, the Dolphins could use reinforcements all over their defense. The lack of pressure up front leaves the secondary exposed, and they've been getting beat far too often. An extra hand or two in the defensive backfield, more depth at linebacker, or even a few more playmakers on the line could change the whole dynamic of Miami's defense. The offensive line is another area crying out for help. Injuries and inconsistency have made it tough to protect quarterback Tua Tagovailoa or create lanes for the running game. And while the offense has some firepower, adding a reliable wide receiver could give Tua a dependable target to balance the attack. One potential trade target being talked about? Zadarius Smith. The veteran pass rusher currently with the Cleveland Browns looks like he's on his way out, with many expecting him to land in Detroit with the Lions. But until that's official, Miami has every reason to throw their name into the mix. Smith isn't a young player anymore, but he brings a 3-time Pro Bowl resume, 32 years of experience, and still knows how to make quarterbacks uncomfortable. He's already racked up 5 sacks this season, and his history speaks for itself, with double-digit sack seasons in 2019, 2020, and 2022. Who is Zadarius Smith, exactly? Well, he's been a relentless force on the field for nearly a decade now. Standing tall at 6 feet 4 inches and weighing in at 272 pounds, Smith has built his reputation on sheer power and explosive moves. He knows how to break through the line, with a unique blend of strength and speed that's hard to defend against. Smith's college days at East Mississippi Community College and later at the University of Kentucky were just the beginning. By the time he left college, NFL scouts had their eyes on him, drawn by his 119 tackles and 11 sacks over 2 seasons with Kentucky. Smith started his NFL career in 2015 with the Baltimore Ravens, a team that has always valued tough, physical defenders. He wasn't a high draft pick, going in the 4th round, but he quickly made a name for himself, racking up 18.5 sacks and 132 tackles in 58 games over his time there. By 2019, the Green Bay Packers came calling, and Smith truly hit his stride. His debut season with the Packers saw him post a career-high 13.5 sacks, a breakout performance that sent him to his first Pro Bowl. The next few years in Green Bay only added to his reputation, and when he moved to the Minnesota Vikings in 2022, he continued to perform, putting up 10 sacks and proving that he could still be a major asset on any defense. This year, Smith has continued to show he's got gas in the tank, with 5 sacks in his first 8 games for the Browns. In total, his career stats boast 65 sacks, 301 tackles, and 10 forced fumbles over 131 games. That's not to mention his 3 Pro Bowl selections. At 32, he's not a long-term investment, but for a Dolphins team in desperate need of pass-rushing power, he could be the answer to some of their biggest issues. Smith's skill set goes beyond numbers. His playstyle is intense, aggressive, and calculated. He's got an eye for the quarterback and knows how to make game-changing plays. His strength lets him bulldoze through blocks, while his agility makes him slippery, even against the best offensive linemen. Whether it's a quick sack or just the ability to throw off the timing of the opposing offense, Smith brings value. Miami's gamble on bringing someone like Zadarius Smith would send a clear message: they're not giving up on this season. They know they need changes, and adding a veteran pass rusher might be the jolt they need to spark a turnaround.